Hey dreamers, this is Jade. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am here to continue documenting my journey through the One Piece anime. I did start over in January of 2024, and so I am getting back into it. And where we left off, they have defeated the big bad in Alabasta, which is Crocodile. And so they had finished feasting, and now it's time for them to leave. And of course, they are caught up in marine fire. Bon Clay, who was actually number two, an enemy, I say that in quotes, of them during this arc, is very helpful to them getting away from the Marines, and so they are very grateful to him, and they all become like friends and stuff like that. Although they kind of were friends before, it's weird the whole progression with Bon Clay or whatever. But I do like him as a character a lot, and so yeah. And so they say farewell to Vivi. Luffy had actually invited her to become a pirate with them, and she was contemplating, but she decided that her duties were to her royalty or whatever. I can't. The word is not coming to me or whatever. So she stayed back behind, but she did meet them on the shore where they were supposed to. Well, she got to the shore where they were supposed to meet if she was gonna go. And she decided not to or whatever. But they did. They all had these X's on their hands to recognize each other because Bon Clay could take on the face of any of them. And so to recognize each other, they had marked themselves with these X's. And so just so they would not implicate her, they didn't like say, "Hey, farewell, Vivi," or anything like that, because they didn't. The Marines were there and listening or whatever. So they just raised their hands in acknowledgement of her, that they were still friends and they got her back, and yada yada yada. So the crew is like bemoaning Vivi's and the crew is bemoaning Vivi, they miss her or whatever. And Zoro is the only one that's like, look, if you wanted her to come, you should make sure she got on the boat. And so everybody is lambasting him, and it is hilarious. And then, surprisingly, they have someone come out of the door. I forget the little space they have in there ship or whatever, and it is Nico Robin, who was Mrs. All Sunday, the right hand to Crocodile during this whole debacle or whatever. Luffy ended up saving her when they were down in the mausoleum or whatever, and everybody else is like, what is going on here or whatever. They are suspicious, they are armed, they are ready to take her out. And she's like, well, Luffy, since you saved me and I wanted to die, it's your fault I'm here, and so I will be joining you all. And Luffy's just like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it or whatever. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, what is going on? She quickly wins over the rest of the crew, playing to their sensibilities and things that they like, except for Zoro. He's the only one that is still suspicious of her. And so yeah, moving on, there is like a few filler episodes here. So then we go into an episode where they stop at this island to like gather supplies and food and stuff. Excuse me. And Chopper is charged with watching the boat again, but he forgets that Robin is there, so he's like terrified. But they kind of have like this bonding moment, and he remembers the first time that he made a rumble ball, which gives him the ability to change his shape and do different things as Chopper, as a reindeer that ate the human fruit or whatever. Another episode is filler episode is Usopp helps this unknown girl with like this fireworks project or whatever. And then one of my favorites is we get to see a flashback of Zoro before he became a pirate, and when he was like basically a bounty hunter, whatever, or the pirate hunter is what they call him, and how he hooked up with Johnny in Johnny in Jesus Christ, I can't remember his name. Yosiko. Yes, that's it. And so yeah, and that was fun to see Zoro pre pirate era. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Robin had been reading this book called Into the Rainbow Mist, and they stop off at this island, and they meet this scientist named Dr. Enzo. And Enzo has been studying the rainbow mist for decades, yeah, like 50 years, because what happened when he was a kid, he was a part of this cute little pirate crew called the Pumpkin Pirates or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. And something happened, and his crew was taken or got lost in the rainbow mist. Now, you go into the rainbow mist and they say you cannot come out. So he has been searching for a way to get back into the rainbow mist for forever because his crew is there. His entire crew is there. So he's like this old man now searching for his pirate crew from when he was a kid. And so yeah, he has been studying the rainbow mist. So they stop off at this island, and then somehow they get into the rainbow mist. So Enzo is there, Luffy, Zoro. I do believe Robin ends up in the rainbow mist or whatever. And they find the kids, and that's the interesting part of this, because they go into the rainbow mist and his crew is still they are still children. He's a 50-year-old man, or 50-plus-year-old man now, and they are still kids. So like time moves way differently in the rainbow mist, and it's just like a pirate graveyard. So you just have all these ships and stuff still just stuck there because they got caught in the rainbow mist and were never able to come out. Now what I do find curious about this whole thing is that the kids are the only ones in the rainbow mist still alive. So that is very interesting to me. But anyway, moving on. So Enzo has been, like I said, trying to find a way to find his friends and get them out of the rainbow mist for forever. And so they just have this whole adventure with the whole rainbow mist, getting caught up in it and getting the kids back out or whatever. And then, of course, the kids are pissed off at Enzo because he is working with the people who kind of messed them up in the first place. But that was his only option, to try to be able to be, God, can I talk? To have the funds and stuff and be able to study this to get them out of there. And so they end up getting, everybody gets, out of the rainbow mist. And then the twist is, once they come out of the rainbow mist, the kids are basically gone back to, the time starts over for them. So they go back to where they came from, basically, and they don't like start where they are or whatever. So what we see is they have this understanding of what happened to them. Okay, they remember they come out, and the kids decide to, as kids, go into the Marines, and that's when they have enough power, when they come out of there, to arrest the people that kind of made them put them in there in the first place. And so yeah, it's a weird thing that happens, and I don't know how to explain it so very well to you, so that's why I just say just watch it so you can understand it for yourself. So the Marines, when they come out of the rainbow mist, the older versions of these kids are there as Marines, and they arrest these people, and it's so good. And then they, they're reunited with Enzo and yada yada yada, and it's great. Okay, and so now we're moving on, the Straw Hats are moving on, and they're getting into kind of the Skypiea era. Anyway, Nami's log pose is like pointing up into the sky, and they're like, once it's like a magnetic thing, so they're like, what's going on? It's pointing up into the sky. And so Luffy's like, there must be an island in the sky. Everybody's like, there must be an island in the sky. So they need to get more information about if there actually is a sky island, because they are like on the seas, and then they see all of this debris falling down and stuff like that, and it is a boat falling from the sky. And they're like, what in the hell is going on here? And so they try to salvage the boat. Once the boat goes into the ocean, they try to salvage the boat and try to get more information from the boat. And they find this, I don't know if they find it on the boat or if this was when they stop off on the island of Jaya to get more information. But they do end up getting a map to an island called Skypiea. And so there is an island in the sky, and they have decided that they are going to journey up there to see what's what. And so that's basically what that is. They meet this guy named Mont Blanc Cricket, who is a descendant of Mont Blanc Nolan, who had found Jaya back in the day, and Jaya was the birthplace, or like the ancestral place of the Shandorians. And they there was like some tension or whatever, but they became friends. You do get this in a flashback. They all became friends and stuff or whatever, and they had this bell that they would ring every day for it. And so at Jaya or whatever, anyway, something happened to Jaya, and this is the information they are going to get. So they do stop off to get information from Mont Blanc Cricket, who is the descendant of Nolan, like I said. And then Nolan is like, there was gold in this city, and Nolan was going to take it back, but there was something that happened between them, so that prevented him from taking it back. or whatever. And so his king wanted to know about the gold or whatever. The king wanted to know, and so Nolan tried to take them back to Jaya so they could see the gold. But when they got there, it was no longer there, and they're like, okay, what happened? And so the king just decided he was a liar, and they ended up executing Nolan. Nolan was not a liar. It was there, the city of gold. So what ended up happening is Jaya got part of Jaya got lifted up by the knockout string, and that's how you get to Sky Island. And so yeah, they prepared. So Cricket and his crew prepared the Mary and Jesus Christ. Cricket and his crew prepared the Going Mary and Luffy and all of them to go up to Sky Island. They told them how to get there, to use the knock up stream, which is very dangerous or whatever. And so yes, they end up getting to Sky Island, and it's all fun and games at first. They meet this girl called Conus and her father, who is writing this waiver or whatever, and they're like, ooh, that's cool. Of course, Luffy wants to know what exactly that is. So he lets him ride it, and Luffy does not know how to ride this thing, all out of control. I think he crashes it, and then Nami takes her turn, and she is very skilled at it, and Luffy is absolutely jealous. Like, how can she ride it so easily and stuff like that? So he's very jealous of Nami, and Nami decides to just kind of take herself on a little journey on this waiver while everyone goes up to have a little dinner with Conus and the dad and the family or whatever. And so they teach them about all the different they had these things called dials, and there's different kinds of dials that do so many different things. There's like an impact dial that's for like battle, there's a reject dial that's also for battle, and then there's dials that do that record sounds, there's dials that keep smells, that heats up, that has fire. It's a whole bunch of different kind of dials, whatever. So they teach them about dials and stuff like that. And then we have the Sky Island police, the white berets. They come and tell them that they are there illegally, and they are just basically harassing the Straw Hats while they're there. And we find out later that they are basically trying to get them off the island or whatever. And so yeah, so the white berets are harassing them, and they're like, absolutely not, we're not doing this. And so basically Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji kind of take them out or whatever. But there is consequences for this. So the boat, a few of the Straw Hats end up on the boat waiting for Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp to come or whatever, and the boat gets taken and put up on this sacrificial altar, because this is the punishment for what's going on with them. And then so Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp have to go and rescue the other crewmates or whatever. But once they're up on the sacrificial altar, Zoro, Robin, and Nami decide to kind of go off on their own and explore Jaya, and they leave Chopper again to take care of the boat. Now, I will say this: I know intellectually, I know that Chopper can take care of himself, but he's a little baby. He's a cute little furball baby. I don't like it when they leave Chopper alone. I don't like it at all. Okay, but they go off exploring, and Chopper is in charge of trying to get the boat back into some order because it has been damaged. And so they're like, okay, you repair the boat, we'll go explore, whatever. Meanwhile, Sanji, Luffy, and Usopp are on this other boat trying to get to where they are so they can rescue them, but they have to go through this trial to get to them, and it's a whole thing with this guy, and basically it's a battle to see who can win and get this guy or whatever. And then they are it was a whole thing, like Conus kind of set them up, but she didn't really have a choice in it. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing here. And so basically this is what we have going on. So they're off, some of the Straw Hats are off exploring, and then the other Straw Hats are off to try to rescue them. In the middle of this, we have a full-out battle going on between the Shandorians, who used to live in Jaya, but their, island got pushed into the sky because of the knockout string. And then there was this other group of people that came in and kind of took over. So this is basically a story about colonization, okay? and they are trying to get their ancestral lands back. And so this is why this war is going on. But in the meantime, the people who originally took the land from these people have kind of fallen back. And there's this other guy that came who fancies himself a god. His name is Inaru, and he is basically, he's lightning. So he ate a gum gum fruit as well. And he is, there's really hard, there's no way you can really defeat this guy. He is lightning. And so there's this battle going on between the Shandorians and what they call the priests, who are like the underlings of Inaru, this god or whatever. And then there's this thing that they are employing called mantra, where certain people can hear like the souls, or they can hear the voices of other people, so they know how many people are around. One of them is this little kid called Asa, and of course Inaru, and I think a few others of them can employ mantra, and that comes into play a little later in the story, even though they call it something else or whatever. So there is just this whole thing going on, and then all the Straw Hats keep getting caught in all the different things that's happening in this world, like this war that's going on. And then they split up. They do end up back together, and then they realize this place is where the city of gold is, and so they decide to split into two different factions. One to go off towards to get the gold, and the other faction, I'm not clear on what they were doing, I can't remember. So they split off, and then again they're in the middle of this war, so each of them keep getting caught up with these people or whatever. And so Zoro ends up having a battle with one of the Shandorians, and then there's another Shandorian who is like the head guy. His name is Wiper, who goes after Luffy, and Luffy is like, what is going on here? I'm just trying to get the goal. I just want to sing my little ditty and go on about my business. And then there's this huge snake that's in the area as well, and there's history behind that. And then so he's fighting with Wiper, and then he's just like gone. It's like the snake ate him. He's in the belly of a snake, so, and he has no idea. He doesn't understand that this is what happened to him. And so Luffy is lost to the snake. He's in the belly of the snake. And then Zoro decides he's gonna stop and eat after he has his little battle. He's like, okay, let me eat this food or whatever. And there's this huge south bird that is like stalking him for his food or whatever. He's like, look, I'm eating my food here or whatever. Anyway, the south bird decides, when he throws his bag down, the south bird takes his bag, and of course Zoro holds on to it. And so him and the south bird go flying off to wherever, and then like everybody has their own little battle. So Chopper's in this battle with this guy. Thankfully he ends up coming out of it. And so that is pretty much Robin. She is pissed at this guy who is ruining the ruins. So yeah, basically it's just a whole lot of shenanigans going on in Sky Island here. But that wraps this one up. If you have any comments or questions, please leave those below. Trust you all have been safe and well. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.